Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video. Man, it feels good to be really excited for a game and then have it actually live up to the hype. Pokémon Pokopia is so good, y'all. And I mean really good. The game has been doing incredibly well and people everywhere are giving it glowing reviews. Now with all of this praise going around, you might be thinking, okay, but is it really that good? I mean, people have been calling it the best Pokemon game. Yet there's no catching Pokemon and using them for battles. On the surface, it kind of looks like Pokemon Minecraft. And yeah, visually, it definitely gives off that vibe. But once you actually start playing it, you realize there's a lot more going on under the surface than you may expect. So the big question is, does Pokemon Pokopia actually live up to this insane amount of praise and sales that it's been getting? Well, let's talk about it. Pokopia's story starts off like any other hero's journey, with a goofy protagonist and their aloof professor. You play as a Ditto who transforms into the shape of their trainer, who is no longer around. And to add to that sad statement, it's not just the trainer. Humans as a whole appeared to have disappeared. Aside from a few scattered Pokemon, the world starts off completely empty and desolate. So this Ditto essentially takes on the role of the protagonist. Your goal is to restore the land by cultivating habitats for Pokemon to live in. As you build more habitats, more Pokemon begin showing up. Over time, what started as an empty wasteland slowly becomes a thriving island filled with Pokemon. And while you're building and exploring, the story slowly unfolds as you try to figure out what exactly happened to the Kanto region and what happened to all the humans that used to live here. The art style is perfect, no notes. Its color palette is bright and cheerful, and while the blocky aesthetic won't be everyone's favorite, the game does balance it out with some more natural shapes and structures, so it never feels like you're playing just another cube-based game. Performance-wise, the game has been buttery smooth for me. I haven't run into any technical issues or anything like that, which is always nice to see, especially in a Pokemon game where sometimes that doesn't happen. Now, in terms of the gameplay, a lot of people have described Pokopia as Minecraft mixed with Animal Crossing. But honestly, that's just a surface level comparison. The best way I can describe it is it's basically Dragon Quest Builders, but with Pokemon and no combat. But for those who've never played Dragon Quest Builders, will have no idea what that statement means, so let me break it down. The gameplay loop in Pokopia is essentially building habitats for Pokemon. When you create the right environments, Pokemon will move in and start living there. From there, you can build relationships with them by completing tasks, giving gifts, or helping them with any request. You can even build houses, furnitures, and toys for them. On top of that, the world itself can be fully terraformed, meaning you can reshape the environment however you want. Now, the world isn't one giant map. Instead, it's divided into several different regions. The first area you'll explore is a wasteland, but each region introduces new mechanics, environments, and Pokemon. And for the purposes of this video, I'll only be showing the first two areas. But here's a quick tip for anyone starting out. If you're in the first area and you're tempted to water everything in the land to make it look better, I would wait until you unlock the ability to make it rain. Trust me, it will save you a ton of time. The Pokemon themselves are one of the best parts of the game. They have tons of personality, and their dialogue is surprisingly funny. Like, why does Kyogre have a southern accent? I don't know, but it's hilarious. You can also have Pokemon assist you with tasks like gathering resources or clearing debris from the land. I love when Pokemon games lean into the idea that Pokemon are more than just battle-hungry animals. I mean, they are that, but they're also more than that. Seeing them use their abilities to help build or solve problems adds a lot of charm to this game. The building system itself is very flexible thanks to the cube-based design, which makes it great for players who enjoy being creative. You can craft items, build structures, decorate areas, and even shop for new items. The gameplay itself is pretty open-ended, but the overall progression is still structured and linear. Regions will unlock as you move through the story, so there's always some kind of sense of direction. There's honestly so much to do in this game that it's kind of impossible to cover everything. On top of the multiple regions you go to and help build up, there's also dream islands that you can go to. Each one can be accessed through like a stuffed animal. And when it comes to these dream islands, each one is different every time you access it. So it's going to change the layout, the structures on it, every time you visit this island. And I would recommend just getting all the resources you can from that island. Since the game takes place in a desolate version of Kanto, you'll occasionally come across familiar landmarks from the original Pokemon games. You can also bring Pokemon companions with you while you explore. I love bringing my favorite Pokemon with me and just going out and seeing what I can find. You can find hidden relics, crafting recipes, and different furniture, decorations. The game as of now includes around 300 Pokemon from generations 1 through 9. Gen 1 obviously gets the most attention, but it's great seeing Pokemon like Trubbish and Piplup included as well. Now, unfortunately, I do have to mention something tragic. This is technically a minor spoiler for one specific Pokemon, and it's my favorite Pokemon, so I feel obligated to warn people. The Trico gang has had a loss today. Our boy didn't make the cut, at least as far as I've seen. I would love to be wrong. I've scoured the internet looking for this little guy, and I couldn't find him. He's gone. When I discovered this, it was devastating, so I kind of want to rip the band-aid off now. But aside from that one massive oversight, 300 Pokemon is still a huge roster. And the developers have already confirmed that limited time events could add more Pokemon in the future. So Trico and other Pokemon can eventually make it into the game, hopefully with one of these limited time events, or DLC, possibly. So help me if they don't add Trico eventually. On top of doing whatever you want, building whatever you want, there's also a large number of side quests in the game. Many of them involving helping Pokemon with requests, building homes for them, giving them gifts, or simply spending time with them. Then there's the main quest, which includes a variety of tasks, some of which can feel a little tedious, but for the most part they're enjoyable because even the smallest actions can have a big impact on the world. Building habitats and discovering new Pokemon has become so addictive. Personally, I've always enjoyed Pokemon more for the collecting aspect rather than the battles, so this gameplay loop works so well for me. If you love exploration, building, and creating towns, this game is incredibly satisfying. Now you may be surprised that in a Pokemon game where public dogfighting is the norm, there's no combat in Pokopia. And pretty much every Pokemon you meet is friendly. Instead of fighting enemies, the game focuses more on solving problems or completing tasks. Which sounds boring, I know, but it is so addictive, I can't explain it. And unfortunately, it can be a little overwhelming. I can see a lot of players getting into this and kind of being overwhelmed with the amount of stuff you can do. And the amount of stuff that the game kind of throws at you, and you kind of juggling a lot of things. But I'd be lying if I said I wasn't a little overwhelmed with this game at times. Now, because this is a Pokemon game, the music is just as charming as you would expect. While there aren't a huge number of completely new tracks, the game features remixed versions of classic Pokemon music, and they sound fantastic. Now, Pokemon Pokopia actually has some pretty cool dynamic music. When you start a new area, like let's say for instance the wasteland that you start in, the music is a bit quiet, a little bit low key, which is perfect for this game. But then as you start building habitats and welcoming new Pokemon and building the town, then the music starts to adapt and grow with it. It's honestly really cool to hear, and it's kind of a neat milestone whenever you hear this gorgeous music. You can also collect Pokemon music in the form of CDs hidden throughout the world, which is a really fun additional collectible. So overall, Pokemon Pokopia is just fantastic. If you're expecting something different, you're not going to hear it here. I mean, there's some few gripes here and there for me. Like I said, it can be a little overwhelming, which is the amount of stuff they throw at you. Also, there's some quality of life features that I would love to see in the game, like having a chest that you can access at any time, or that you can access other chests with. Because as it is now, every chest is separate from one another. And so if you're in one region and you left something in your chest at another region, you have to go all the way there and come back, and it's just a little tedious. And like I said before, some of the missions and side quests can be really tedious, especially if you're doing similar tasks over and over again. I recommend playing this game in small, short bursts and not long play sessions, unless you're just built that way. I unfortunately am not. Pokemon Pokopia takes the world of Pokemon and pushes it into a completely different direction, focusing on creativity, exploration, and building relationships with Pokemon instead of battling. And honestly, it works really well. If you've ever wanted a Pokemon game where you can just hang out with Pokemon, build towns, and shape the world however you want, then this game is absolutely worth checking out. I think even if you're a Pokemon fan and these games are normally not your jam, I think you should at least consider it because it's honestly a really fantastic Pokemon game more than anything else. And for people who aren't even Pokemon fans, I think would enjoy this too. You don't need to know much about Pokemon to like this game. And I think that low barrier to entry will really help this game reach out to different audiences, especially ones that are more interested in cozy games rather than RPGs. Now going back to my question earlier, is Pokemon Pokopia one of the best Pokemon games like everyone's been saying? It's a bit complicated because this isn't a normal Pokemon game, as you can clearly tell. But as far as Pokemon spin-off goes, this is one of the best ones, for sure. It's also hard because I want to give this game time to breathe and not just have recency bias, but I am having a blast with this game, and you can pour hundreds and hundreds of hours into this game. And that necessarily doesn't mean it's going to be the best spin-off game, but man, the amount of enjoyment I've gotten with this game, just in the amount of hours I've already put into it. I haven't even finished the game yet. It's so long, you can pour so much time into this. And outside of a few quality of life stuff and some nitpicks I have with the game, this game is one of the best Pokemon spin-off games, and it easily deserves its high ratings. But I want to hear from you. Have you tried Pokemon Pokopia, or are you thinking about getting it? Let me know down in the comments below, and if you would, hit that like button and subscribe for more content like this. But that's it for me. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see y'all next time. God bless.